Hey everyone, this is Matt from Healthy Framework. Today, I'm super excited to be joined by Andy Garmendia, partner, VP of Operations, and Matchmaker for Cinqe Matchmaking. Andy, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to do this.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump right into it. Can you tell me first off, what separates Cinqe from the rest of the matchmaking services that are out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when it comes to matchmaking, there's all different types of matchmaking businesses. What sets us apart is that all of our matchmakers have had their own matchmaking company. They were typically doing it by themselves. And so we decided, you know what would be cool? To have a matchmaking agency that we're all obviously very passionate about it and make it a collaborative effort. And so I know matchmakers tend to do that with other matchmakers, but they never actually merge. So we have all merged all of our companies into one. So that really gives us an advantage when it comes to working with our clients, because first of all, we're extremely passionate about this. Our clients don't get passed down to matchmakers that are essentially just clocking in and out. And because we are so passionate about this, we have many different platforms. Some of our matchmakers have their own podcast. Some are very out there with their Instagram and very dedicated to promoting a message. And so it really extends our network. So that is, I would say, the main reason. We're all kind of rock stars in our industry, and now we're collaborating together.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, I've done quite a few of these interviews, and it's a unique approach, but I really like how you guys are kind of taking the best of what you guys have learned and pulling it together. So
It
excellent.
works.
Yeah. So moving along, how would you describe the ideal customer that Cinqe is designed for?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. So our main clients typically tend to be successful professionals who value their time and are used to outsourcing. So most of our clients, if they don't have time to cook, they've hired somebody to take that part of their life away so that they can focus in business. So it's typically people who value their time and understand how time consuming it is to do it on their own.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that, from again, some of the other interviews and things, and even talking with readers on our side, it makes sense that they just don't have time. And you guys can kind of help take out some of that initial footwork for them there.
That
Excellent.
is exactly it.
So I know something that folks ask us pretty regularly, and I'll be intrigued to see your answer here, is hiring a personalized matchmaker is more expensive than a traditional dating app. How would you rationalize the cost of someone who might be concerned about the higher price tag?
Yeah, I mean, when you hire a matchmaker, you're essentially hiring somebody to work for you. And when we take on clients, there's no clocking in and out. We are available 24 hours, 7 days a week, whenever our clients need us. So it is more expensive because you're essentially hiring a personal assistant, but for your love life. And what that also means is that you're also investing into yourself, right? When you're doing your online dating by yourself, time equates to money. And also, I could argue if you're not doing the vetting process, if you're just going on blind dates, you're spending a lot of money on dates that you don't even want to go on.
Mhm.
So it is the equivalent of, like I mentioned, hiring a personal assistant, but also it's part of a self-development.
No, that's a great explanation with it. And I think, it's so easy maybe for somebody that's using an app, let's say for free, to say, well, yeah,
Yeah.
this is free. But ultimately, again, to your point, if they're used to outsourcing things, they probably get it easier overall in terms of
Yes. Well,
understanding.
they're spending a lot of money, which translates to time,
Yeah.
or time translates to money. So they're spending a lot of time looking for these searches, these matches, I should say, and coming up short. So hiring a matchmaker, yes, it's expensive, but you're gonna get what you pay for.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense to me, at least. Uh, Changing gears a little bit, would you say, are there any drawbacks to using a matchmaker that people should be aware of?
Yes, absolutely. I think that there are drawbacks, and it really is down to the company. And so not every company is fit for everybody. And so I really encourage people that tell me that they're doing or that they're talking to various matchmakers. I always say you have to research the company and especially ask, what is their process and how do they find matches? Because the secret to a good matchmaking agency is their network. And so if they are a solo matchmaker who's recently just started and is more localized, then you can expect those sorts of matches, right? Very local, sort of new, she's starting to go out there, so she might not have as many matches, and so that has to be taken into consideration, and that is unfortunately a drawback in our industry.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's kind of a great segue into my next question, which is, would you say, is there anything unique about the way that you might find matches for someone?
Yes, we're very good at, we have an incredible network, and the reason why we have such an incredible network is because of what I mentioned earlier. All of our matchmakers are extremely passionate about this. They do this day in, day out, the minute that they wake up to the minute they go to sleep, and they're promoting themselves as matchmakers 24/7. So we get a lot of people coming into our network, but our secret recipe is being able to go outside of the network, because there's no cookie cutter when it comes to matches. Maybe we have a handful of them, but that is not enough to really give high quality service. So we have to go outside of our network, and that's really where we shine.
Excellent. Excellent. So this next question, I've enjoyed seeing responses to, and it's been all across the board overall. But have you struggled before to find an ideal match for a client? And if so, what's your process when this happens?
Yes, absolutely. And that is something that we will encounter from time to time. We have found that when we are struggling to find matches with someone, for someone, it's not because of the matches. It typically tends to be either a fear of rejection, or they're projecting their past forward. They're terrified to go on a first date, and so they're passing on matches or getting really picky about what they're looking for. But their underlying problem is typically fear of rejection. So all of our matchmakers were or are still at some point dating coaches. So we have a great team of people that can recognize that, and then we have those conversations with our clients. Sometimes it's subconscious, sometimes they don't realize that that's what the problem is. So yeah, of course we encounter that, but we have an incredible team that is able to deal with that and have those hard conversations with our clients.
Excellent. It's a good, honest answer. Just anybody that says they've never struggled, I definitely am like, have you really? So,
No, there's struggle everywhere,
yeah,
but you have to understand where it's coming from.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Great answer. Changing it again a little bit, would you say, are there any misconceptions about matchmakers that you'd like people to better understand?
Yes. There is a misconception that we can guarantee love for people, that this is going to absolutely 100% be the thing that solves all of your issues in your love life. And that's simply just not true. Our job is really to guarantee quality matches and set up the dates. But it's our clients, and I always joke about this, we have the easy part of the deal. You have to do the hard work. And that means being vulnerable, courting someone, being emotionally available, being really open to pursue that relationship. So yeah, absolutely, that's part of it.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. They're in great feedback with it. Then, like, it's not you guys aren't an instant fix. It's not pay money, and
No,
you
we're
guys
not
solve it.
cupids, and we can't guarantee. And you know what? That's something that I always say to people. I'm like, look, I cannot guarantee chemistry. I cannot. Of course, I would love to, but this is a solid person. It hits all of the requirements that you're looking for, and it goes both ways. That's also very important. That's a two-way street, that they're both looking for each other. But sometimes people get on a date, they get nervous, they say weird things, or they read too much into behavior, or someone's late and that turns them off. And it could be the smallest things, like, I didn't like the way that he held his glass. And you're like, oh, okay, well then that's chemistry,
Right.
And so those things also have to align. And sometimes the best matches that I have done are people that I'm like, I'm not sure, none of the requirements are there, but they're incredible. And then they go and they're like getting married in a
Yeah.
couple months after. So that's chemistry. We can't guarantee that.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Excellent. So this next one's kind of a fun one, and definitely not looking for any sort of secret sauce or anything behind the curtain, but just a little look maybe behind. But are there any metrics that you're able to share with us? Things perhaps like how long it takes on average to find a match, success rates, number of clients, or just anything like that in terms of metrics?
Yeah, absolutely. So our metrics, and I love this question, and our metrics really vary from client to client. Ultimately, our metrics are based on introductions and the quality of introductions, because we can't, um, what's the word that I'm looking for here? Measure based on marriages or love, because that part is a little out of our control. Sometimes you see two people come together and they're perfect and the chemistry is there, but one didn't call the other or whatever happened. And so that's totally out of our control. So how we measure success is how many dates did this person go on? How many second dates, third dates, 4 dates? What happened? Were they dating a month, 2 months? It's really based on the quality of introductions. That's what we base it on. Also, as well, we ask our clients on the onboarding process, how do you define success whilst working with us? Because some of our clients, for them, they've just gotten out of a really, dramatic or traumatic divorce. And they're like, I just want to go back into the dating scene, but I need somebody to like talk this out with. I don't want to go on a dating app. My ex could see me and whatever that might do. So I really need a safe space to just date. Then, of course, you have people that want to get married and have children and build that part of their lives. So success really varies within our industry. But ultimately, our success and how we measure that is based on the quality of matches that we're providing for our clients.
Yeah, excellent. That's a very solid formula from my standpoint for measuring. Excellent. So to close us out, and this is always a fun one, do you have a favorite success story that you'd like to share?
So many. I have been doing this, as I shared with you earlier, for almost 13 years. And some of my favorite stories or success stories that I've had, of course, we've had marriages and babies and we get invited to weddings and all of that is great. But ultimately for me, I think is seeing someone do a complete 180 in this process. And I shared earlier that I really do equate matchmaking to a personal development program, because you're sharing this journey with us. And sometimes we have to have really hard conversations with people because they have blind spots. And so seeing people transform, whether it's more confident, whether it's they found the person, whether it's helping someone re-enter the dating scene after a traumatic divorce, we see these stories every day. And those are always my favorite when you see transformation happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think we all have to, and you've touched on this a few times, take that look inside, right? It's not just hire you and you instantly find a fix.
Yeah,
We often need to work on ourselves as well as we work on the journey there. Excellent. Well, thank you so much,
absolutely.
Annie, for taking
Yes,
the time to
thank
connect.
you.
Really awesome getting to understand a little bit more about you and Cinqe Matchmaking. And this is something perhaps we'll do another series again in 3 or 6 months. So it'd be good to circle back, see if there are any latest
Yes.
and greatest updates across the team. But really appreciate you taking the time today to connect.
Thank you for having me. That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.